Okay, hey everyone. This is me on a Saturday afternoon, and I want some bonus points for being here in my ponytail and my t-shirt, putting this out on the web. But I just was like, I don't have time to clean up. I gotta post this video. So here we are. I am so enjoying reading your stories. And I want to thank Elizabeth and Peter Kittle for, here, I got to move my laptop so the lighting doesn't flip out. I want to thank Elizabeth and Peter Kittle for giving us the Story Jumper app, which has turned out to be so useful to a lot of you. I can't wait to get into all your stories. I've looked at probably half so far, but haven't given any feedback yet, but I will by Monday night. I'm looking forward to what our featured curators end up doing with those storytelling and the ones that they pick to highlight. So thanks to our curators that are coming up this week. We're moving into the next Make Cycle 3, which Peter Kittle and I, when we kind of were, like I've said many times, he teaches a face-to-face version of this class and I teach the online version, but our courses are kind of running parallel. And when we were redesigning, which we did just do with this class, we were trying to pull from the language of Common Core, even though sometimes we don't necessarily use that language in our own teaching of writing. It is we want you to be familiar with the terms and the things that like what Common Core calls some of these things. So we're moving into expository texts, which is very much part of Common Core. And I've got a quote on the Make Cycle 3, but expository texts are basically texts that inform or describe. Sometimes they're walkthroughs or instructions. And sometimes school can make these really awful, I gotta say. Like if you were to do a Google search for helping kids write expository texts, you're gonna find all kinds of crap. Like all kinds of like really bad templates and boring, like it's kind of the stuff that can make kids not like to write. And I really want you to reflect on the fact that Josh's text that we read in chapter 1 is an expository text. His text about mammoths, that's a good example. And there's a few of them actually this week. I think Annie Arnold's text, there was a story this week about a service dog, is actually written like an expository text in that not only is she telling the story, but she's also talking about what a service dog does and how it does it. So that's what we're going to be playing with this week. You're going to read a couple more chapters from About the Authors, chapter 2 and 3, and appendix C and D. So we'll do that. And mostly, again, have you highlight ideas that you want to kind of remember and keep for your own classes. So the other thing I'm going to ask you to do by next Friday is in appendix C, is that right? Hold on, let me look at it again here. Appendix D is they list some authors that make really good writing mentors for kids. And so I am going to ask you to look up one of those authors and try to find like their books. You can almost always find YouTube videos of people's books. Try to find interviews with the authors. Almost all of them will have a website. And see if you can think about how they might make good mentor texts. I'm going to have you do that by next Friday. So About the Authors and some work with it for next week. Following week, we'll start our get ready for our next Make Cycle. And so I'm going to have you look at a children's book about dragonflies, which does a really nice job of not only telling the story of dragonflies, but doing it in a way that you're getting facts about what dragonflies are. So I'm going to suggest that some of you could take your stories from last week, like Shannon wrote about the tardy turtle, and she could turn that into a book about turtles that's more fact-based. Or Shannon, you could take that exact story and you could do like breakout boxes or quote boxes, kind of breakaway, as you see sometimes in textbooks. And while you're telling the story, you'd be like, have this little fact box. Did you know that turtles move this many, blah, blah? So you can totally remix your children's book stories to be more fact-based. It will mean rewriting and revising or adding to the text, but that's an option. Or you could do your own research on like, I've always wanted to know about pill bugs, or I've always wanted to know about rainbows. And you could write a book that does a nice job of being creative, like that Dragonflies book as a mentor text, and do your own book. prep yourself. I'm going to have you, if you don't know Edward Gorey's ABC book, you're about to, because I'm going to use it as a mentor text, but it's brutal. I just feel like we're going into October and fall and Halloween, and maybe it's okay to have some creepy stuff. It's actually one of my favorite illustrated, really, it'll make you uncomfortable. It's all about, how little kids and bad things that happen to them. So be prepared for the reading of this Edward Gorey's the Gasherly Teenies, ABC book. And then I'm going to have you look at some infographics as model text and think about how you might make your own infographic using Pictochart, which I put a link to, and you could do an infographic about the chapters and about the authors. So all that's in the instructions. So yeah, that's our 2 weeks ahead of us. I know I keep saying this, so it's probably obnoxious, but I really love this class. Like, I really, really like reading all of your work. You guys are amazing. Grateful for the discussions you're having and responding to each other. You're just doing really, really, really cool stuff. So thank you for taking it up. I'm kind of liking my online classes even better. So go figure, because you guys are great. Okay, I think that's all I have to say this week. I'll go get my hair done. And I'm actually heading to a Giants game tomorrow, which I'm very excited about because I could use a little bit of a break and some joy. So we're going to catch the last of the poor Giants this year. It definitely tells me I'm a super fan because I still like watching them even though they lose. So there's that. So I'm going to go tomorrow and then I'll grade and look at the rest of your stories on Monday. And we'll be good to go for our engaging expositions. Okay, have fun.